Earlier this morning, we got a new patch for Helldivers 2, which focuses entirely on performance and stability. Helldivers 2 has always had problems with performance and with stability. It's always been kind of inconsistent. Sometimes it gets better, sometimes it gets worse, and in this case, it has gotten a lot better. My main account is on my PS5, so I logged on and I went to go check it out and see what has changed. And I went right to D10 Hive Worlds, which I consider to be one of the worst performing areas in the whole game, and I was pleasantly surprised. I had next to no frame drops when I was playing solo, and when I played in a 4-man, there was still some frame rate problems when the game got really intense, but overall, it still ran a lot better than it had before. I also played a D10 Hive World mission on PC, and it also ran much better on PC as well. This is going to vary from system to system. There's never a one-size-fits-all solution for PC gaming, but in my case, it was much better. I was getting much higher frame rates, with less frame rate dips, and with no loss in graphical quality. So what exactly has Arrowhead done to improve performance and increase stability? Well, across the board, they have just generally lifted up the game's performance. They fixed some rendering issues, and they did a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes, I'm sure, stuff that would be probably too technical for you and I, but they have also made improvements across all the platforms individually. PC, Xbox, and PS5 all got some upscaling options, and if you don't know anything about like upscaling programs like DLSS, this isn't going to mean anything to you, and I'm not going to explain it because that is a bit too technical. The PC version of Helldivers 2 has gotten support for FSR 3.1.5, FSR 4.0.3, DLSS 4.5, and XeSS 3.0. FSR is AMD's upscaling tech. I don't really use FSR a lot. I usually use DLSS personally. I ran the game in DLSS just fine, and I noticed no quality loss when I was running it in the quality mode. The game looked just fine, and I just had a better frame rate. I mean, DLSS is pretty damn good when it comes to performance boosts, in my experience. And I have actually never used XeSS before. I know it's Intel's upscaling tech, that's pretty much all I know about it. If you play on PC, you're going to want to hop in and check out all these different options. DLSS is only available for NVIDIA cards, so if you have an AMD, I think you're limited to FSR and XeSS. Just go in, check it out, and see what works best for you. There's a lot of different ways to configure it. The PS5 got FSR 3.1 as an upscaler. I noticed literally no issues or changes in video quality when I was playing. I just had better frame rates and better looking visuals in some cases. I know that FSR 3.1 can be used for sharpening like any other upscaling tech, so maybe they did some of that. There could be other reasons for the increased visual quality, and I'll get into that later. But just know that if you're on PS5, the game is now running noticeably smoother. It ran really good. I had almost no frame rate drops the entire time. It's pretty awesome. I'm pretty glad with that. And the PS5 Pro now has PSSR 1. PSSR is PlayStation's proprietary upscaling tech. I don't have a PS5 Pro, so I can't show you what this looks like, and I'm not gonna go buy one, frankly. But I have heard decent things about PSSR in the past, so if you do have a PS5 Pro and you play Helldivers 2, go test it out and let me know what it's like in the comments. The Xbox Series X also got FSR 3.1, so I would be expecting sort of the same boost in performance that the PS5 has gotten as well. I don't have a Series X, so I can't, go test it on there, but I imagine that it would be a similar boost in performance to the PS5. It doesn't say here that there is a change for the Xbox Series S, and I hope that is a typo because the Series S is the weak link for this console generation in terms of performance. The Series S would benefit the most from an upscaling technology. I'm not sure if there's a problem with compatibility or if Arrowhead just didn't include it in the patch notes for some reason, but hopefully the Series S is also going to benefit, because I don't think there's a difference between the Series X and Series S versions of the game on, the Xbox version. Now, keep in mind, on all of the console versions, the upscaling is enabled by default. This, again, should have no effect on the game. It should only make it look better and run better. It should, but just keep in mind that you can't modify this. You don't have a choice in this if you're on console. PC players have the choice to activate and pick which upscaling tech they want to use because, well, it's PC. They always have those kinds of options on there. So keep that in mind. And there are some other changes here as well. They claim that they have added variable refresh rate support for PS5 and PS5 Pro. From my understanding, VRR is kind of like G-Sync for PC, if you know what I'm talking about. It syncs up the refresh rate to your monitor's refresh rate and, reduces screen tearing and visual artifacts and all that kind of stuff. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just ignore what I'm saying. But if you play on PC, you might know what G-Sync is. I think that's kind of what this is. They also added variable rate shading for supported devices, whatever the supported devices are. VRS, they claim, can help improve performance by reducing shading rates on certain areas of the image, resulting in less work for the GPU for similar-looking close pixels. That's very technical, I get the gist of it, but that's the kind of thing that, you're not going to notice a lot on the client end of things, I imagine. It says that they added support for DRS on PC and PS5. I believe DRS is referring to dynamic resolution scaling, so when the game is having troubles keeping up with the frame rate, the game can reduce the resolution and try and shift that performance into the frame rate instead, if you get what I'm saying. They also said that with the introduction of DRS on all platforms, they have also upped the resolution on Xbox Series S and PS5 to 1440p in the performance preset. This is going to be great for anyone that has a 1440p or a 4K monitor, because now you're just going to have the same frame rate with higher resolution. I think that's great, and I think that might have something to do with why I thought the game looked better on PS5. I'm playing on a 1080p monitor, but I suppose it is possible that the game was internally rendering at 1440p and then condensing itself to 1080p for my monitor, and that would actually be great because that's basically a native upscaling then. And on PC they added NVIDIA Reflex for NVIDIA GPUs and AMD anti-lag for AMD GPUs. If you use NVIDIA Reflex or anti-lag, that should reduce your input delay during the game, which is obviously just an all-around great thing to do. And there is a few other things here. They said that they added additional resolution options in the display settings. So for PC users, if you had a weird monitor resolution that wasn't supported previously, go back and look again. They probably will work better now. They claim that having reflections on high will now perform better. That's just all around good news. And they claim that they have improved the VRAM management on PC to improve performance on systems with limited VRAM. Another just great change. All around, really good changes for performance on all platforms here. Now, I imagine that you might want to know what the specs on my PC are, so you can compare this to your PC and see if this performance update will be worth anything to you. I have an RTX 4060 with 8GB of VRAM, so a mid to high-end graphics card is pretty good, and it definitely gets the job done for most games. I have an Intel Core i9-9900KF CPU, so again, a pretty sort of mid-high-end CPU. Again, gets the job done for anything I need it to do. And I also have 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM. If you have had problems with Helldivers 2 performance in the past, then, compare this to your specs and see if this might help you out. Helldivers 2 has had lackluster performance in the past on PC for me, but after this new patch, the game looks better, it runs better, I've just had a much better experience on PC, and of course I have the game loaded on my NVMe SSD for the fastest, read and write times, just to be clear. What are your thoughts on the new update? Are you getting better frames? Are you back to crashing all the time? Have you even tried it out yet? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to discuss this update further, then go join my Discord server. Now it is time to thank all of my Hell Troopers. Swickety, Archangel Shipyards, Dirty Nightmare, Findas16, ODST Exotic, John Droll, Tinfoil Freak, Melek Paragon 9231, Jack of Nothingness, Sire Melk, Thackum Dub, Kermite Official, and SES Champion of Democracy. Thank you all for continuing to support my channel, it means a lot to me. And that's all I have for today. This is Grand Moff Togan of the SES Prophet of Dawn, signing off.